Good afternoon, Chairman Buckley and members of the committee. I'm Paige Williams. I'm the Director of Legislation for the Texas Classroom Teachers Association. I'm also a mom to 2 public school students. TCTA appreciates the invite to give input regarding the committee substitute for Senate Bill 8. I am testifying in opposition to the bill. TCTA remains steadfastly opposed to vouchers in any form, including education savings accounts. We've learned through charter schools and districts of innovation that a foot in the door is likely to lead to expansion, regardless of whether the program is effective or efficient. Charter schools on the whole have not performed quite as well as traditional public schools, and districts of innovation have demonstrably used the ability to exempt themselves from state laws as a matter of convenience rather than for innovative educational strategies, and yet they proliferate. Introducing private school vouchers will only exacerbate the problem of a chronically underfunded public school system. Texas consistently ranks near the bottom among states in pure student funding. At best, depending on what ranking system you're using, we remain under the national average. Our state will struggle to fund 3 education systems: traditional public schools, charter schools, and now private schools, particularly at a time when students are still in need of additional funding to help them recover from the pandemic. We acknowledge that the committee substitute for Senate Bill 8 has included a nod to accountability by requiring students benefiting from the ESA program to take the required standardized test, but we believe that this simply ensures that private schools will be more particular with regard to the students that they choose to admit. This bill specifically provides that the program cannot unduly limit the ability of an education service provider, vendor, or educational product or program participant to determine admissions and enrollment practices, policies, and standards. As for the merits of the testing proposal in Senate Bill 8, we acknowledge that there appear to be some improvements. We support the reduction of high-stakes consequences, for example, particularly the elimination of the requirement that high school graduation be contingent on the passage of end-of-course exams. But it's improvement to note that this proposal was hastily introduced to the education community with very little time for us to thoroughly review its requirements and its implications. To our knowledge, a large portion of it was developed without stakeholder input, or at least this stakeholder input. Something as important and complex as standardized testing should not be a last-minute enticement to vote for vouchers. The introduction of through-year testing raises concerns about increasing the number of tests with little assurance that these tests will be shorter, less stressful, or more appropriate than the current assessment system, though the proposal may have merit. Not only are we unconvinced that the proposed assessment system is an improvement, but even if it does provide relief from the current testing problems, it is not worth the introduction of vouchers to our state. As we have stated repeatedly, we believe that lawmakers have a rare opportunity this session to help students, teachers, and schools. We are disappointed that so much attention is focused on legislation like this that we believe will harm public schools and that does nothing to address our teacher shortage. We ask you to not allow Senate Bill 8 to progress, but to keep your focus on school funding, teacher salaries, and working conditions that will help ensure our students are given the best education possible by high-quality, experienced teachers at well-funded schools.